Hi, everyone. So, I am not going to do an episode about my irresponsibility with money, and instead, I'm going to do a short one about being sick because if I sound different, it's because I'm sick. Um, and I wanted to get on here and do an episode just about that because I know I've talked about how I've dealt with being sick and stuff in the past here and there, but I've not done an actual episode about it, I don't think. Um, So, yeah, and with the other one, I think that's going to be a longer episode anyways, so I don't want to have to talk for that long, but I thought, I'm just going to share kind of what happens when I'm sick, in case there's anybody out there who does some of these things. Now you know that somebody else does too. Um, so, it's weird being sick. I haven't been sick since, 2019 at the beginning of the year, so a year before the pandemic started, because that was when I quit my last job. And it was another trip to the hospital and the ER, and I was dehydrated, I was vomiting, and that was my typical reaction to the stress and the toxicity at work. Every few months I would just get really, really sick. And it was just ongoing. And since I've quit, I haven't gotten sick. I don't count those months with Sylvester. I don't count that whole thing. Because that's not the same as being sick. I couldn't control that stuff, and that was a whole different issue anyways. So I wanted to just share some stuff. Also, before I forget, somebody emailed me, and if you remember an episode I did months back about Alicia and I having gone for a hike in the snow, and when we were getting ready to leave, the car got stuck in the snow and it just wasn't going anywhere. And the person had asked, whatever happened to you guys? How did you get out? And I forgot to tell you guys, it isn't even that funny. It's when that couple took off, Alicia tried one more time. She hit the gas and tried to get out. And we automatically got out and just followed the couple out. So that was kind of embarrassing. So yeah, that's how we got out of being stuck in the snow. Okay, anyways, so I have not had COVID, and this is not COVID, because, I was sitting here thinking, oh, fuck, man, I knew going to see Chelsea Handler over the weekend with 2,400 people in the same fucking room, of course I'm gonna get COVID. So, I've been priding myself on being a super dodger. I guess that's the official term that's used for people who haven't got COVID yet. So I tested myself because we got a bunch of the at-home ones when they were free. We signed up to have them sent. So I tested myself yesterday, negative, and I tested myself today, negative. So what happens when I get sick? Oh my God, I haven't been, it's not a wretched sickness. It's just a stomach bug. But, this used to be my jam. This used to be, I was just sick like this all the time. Well, not all the time, every few months, like I'd mentioned, I would just get sick like this. So I was sitting here earlier, oh man, have I been really that stressed out? And I'm finally this, it's catching up to me now or something, but I don't know. I don't know where I got it. But yeah, it's just a stomach bug. So what happens when I start feeling off? I feel off in many situations about a variety of things, but this is pertaining to when I eventually find out that I'm sick in some way. And the other day I just felt really, really off. And I don't even know really how to describe that. I listen to my gut a lot. And sometimes it just gives me some information, but not all. And all I got that day was, something ain't right. What's going on? Why don't I feel normal? And then yesterday I started getting a sore throat. And it progressively got worse as the day went on. Which is why I tested myself for COVID because I know that, like, I mean, everything resembles a COVID symptom, it feels like. If you shit the wrong way, that's COVID. Like, I don't know. So I was sitting here, I have a sore throat. I heard something about COVID and sore throats, and then I started looking stuff up, and I'm like, why am I bothering? Like, how would I know? I don't know. Just because I have a sore throat doesn't mean it's COVID, but I freaked out a little bit. And I kept smelling shit for like hours. I would randomly like spray body spray on me to make sure I could still smell it, because as soon as I didn't smell it, if that ever happened, then I would know that, oh no, it's COVID. Like, this is my worst nightmare, is not being able to smell shit. And so, so as the day went on and I tested myself and I saw that I wasn't positive for COVID, then I was like, okay, maybe like it's just because like of the pollution that we had from the wildfires like a week ago. But like, why that wouldn't linger, and why would all of a sudden having it like now affect me? That wouldn't make sense. So I didn't really do anything yesterday, except just notice that, like, my sore throat was getting worse, and I fucking hate sore throats. I hate them. That's the worst part, in my opinion, aside from vomiting. Oh, I hate that too. That's the worst. But, like, this is, like, right in line with it, is the sore throat. It is the most uncomfortable. I will deal with, like, a headache. I don't give a fuck. Break my leg, like I'll drag my ass around the house. I don't give a fuck about that either, but like my sore throat, no, because I drink water constantly. I'm swallowing all the time, and it's like every time you swallow, it's like daggers going down your throat, and it's the worst part of getting sick. And thank goodness that's usually how it starts, at least for me. So this morning, I got up at 5:30, and I had gone to bed at 2:30, so I got a few hours of sleep. And I knew that something was going on because, like, I'm a shitty sleeper, but I don't get up, like, 3 hours after going to bed feeling, like, off and, So Alicia, she was up getting ready for work, and, she thought I was odd that I was up that early, but I couldn't help it. So she asked if like I was feeling worse, and I said, yeah, my sore throat's not getting any better, but it's probably nothing. And as soon as she left for work, I don't know why this happens, because this has happened a couple of times in the past, where she'll leave right after I tell her that, like, I'm fine, like there's nothing wrong. And then I really feel like it's just a sore throat, no big deal. That's how I like really feel. But then she'll leave and go to work, and within 10 minutes, it's like I start developing these other fucking symptoms. And that's what happened today. So I'm sitting there doing work, and my sore throat starts to get a little bit better, and then it just travels upwards, and my ears are ringing, and my head's pounding, and then my stomach starts making those noises that I haven't heard since Sylvester. And since Sylvester has come out, I haven't had to deal with those odd, like, those just gross noises, all the rumbling and whatever. And so that started up, and I started feeling nauseous. And then, this is too much information. And then I had this sense of like, oh, I'm going to shit myself. Like, I have diarrhea. What am I supposed to do? Throw up or go poop? And so I just ran to the bathroom. I grabbed like a wastebasket, and I sat on the toilet, and I shit and barfed at the same time. I'm sorry that's so gross. And the reason why I do it that way is because when I had that big cyst in my stomach, it was constantly making me nauseous, and I was constantly having to throw up, and I wasn't pooping normal. It was just like peeing out my butt. So after like throwing up in the toilet and shitting myself while I'm kneeling in front of it. After a few times of that, I was like, I need something to change here. And that's when Alicia's like, well, why don't you just shit and barf at the same time? So barf in this wastebasket. So I don't know why I shared all that, but I did. So it's out there. And what are we, 10 minutes in? I can't go back now. It's too far. Um, and that all happened within like 45 fucking minutes. As soon as she left, I was like, what the fuck is this? It just was like a wave. It came over me. And then after that, I had like the body aches. And then, so I went to the bedroom and it was like 75 in there and I was freezing and I had socks on and I just feel like I had every symptom that there is in like the span of like an hour. It just went from one to another to another. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because that's the one that like I prefer is when it just everything happens in a short amount of time because I know I'll only be sick for like a day or two. And then it's the other ones where it like just drags and drags. I would rather just have all of this shit be done and over with in 2 days. Because being sick sucks. Being sick sucks. Yeah. And what else? So today is not a good day. My body hurts. I'm in menopause, so I'm sweating all the time, but that could be from the stomach bug. Who knows? I just feel disgusting. And when I'm sick, I just feel gross. Like a big pile of fucking grossness. And I could go take a shower and within an hour or two, I'd feel fucking gross again because I don't know. I just don't like, there's not supposed to be this shit inside me making me feel this way and it needs to come out. So like I just pound water. I pace myself because like the more water you drink, the quicker shit can like flush out. I don't mean like literal shit, but that too. I don't know. But anyways, so when I'm sick, when I used to be sick as a kid, I think I touched on this a little bit. I know I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be recording right now anyways. It's like almost midnight, but I got bored and I had taken a nap today for like 4 hours. So I'm kind of like wide awake. But anyways, when I was a kid and I got sick, my mother was a fucking bitch. Like, she was the one that had to take care of me because my dad was working all the time. So it's like I don't know, she took it personally or something whenever I got sick. And I typically had earaches when I was a kid. It was always like a stomach bug or like an earache. And there was like no nice bone in her body whenever I got sick. She just seemed pissed all the time because she had to, quote, take care of me and like stay home from work herself while I stayed home from school. And I never understood what the big deal was. Like, I'm sleeping, I'm watching TV, maybe I'm throwing up, and I'm eating whatever soup you're making. How am I in the way? Sorry that you missed a day of work, but it's not really that big of a deal. It wasn't. And she was just mean all the fucking time. Like, it's like not coming right out and blaming me, but I felt like she was blaming me for getting sick, like as if that was something that I could control. So being sick as a kid sucked every fucking time. And there were a lot of times that I just didn't say anything and went to school and couldn't stay the whole day. And I was just trying to like make it because I would rather be feeling like crap at school than feeling like crap at home with a fucking wire monkey for a mother. So that was my experience as a kid. So as I grew up, I just kind of turned into her. So when Alicia and I got together and we were like we'd started living together and she would get sick now and then, I was a fucking bitch. She would stay home from work and I would be like, that lazy asshole is not going to work just because like she doesn't feel good, because my ass was just going in every day regardless of what I had. She had somehow convinced me that Even if you're sick, you have to pretend like you're not. Don't tell anybody that you don't feel well and still go to work or whatever. And so I think she was like pissed because I didn't want to go to school sometimes, like feeling that way. I don't know. She was just fucking bizarre. Just bizarre. So I turned into a cold bitch, and I did not know how to deal with like somebody getting sick. I didn't know how to be compassionate. I didn't know oh God, thinking back to how I was doesn't even feel like that was me. I mean, it was, but it seems like I'm talking about somebody totally different, because I was like a complete version of my mother. And whenever Alicia would get sick, it was not a good time, because I feel so bad, but she knew what was going to happen when she got sick is I would start distancing myself. I got annoyed with her. Like, I feel so bad saying this stuff, but that's how I was. And so therapy for several years, here I am now, and I don't feel like that anymore at all. Like, she gets sick, I want to be a human and be there for her. So I would consider that having come a long way compared to how I was taught you should take care of sick people. Because like when Alicia gets sick, she's so fucking needy, and she knows it. And I tell her that. She's like, give me this, bring me that. Oh, cuddle with me. Oh, I don't feel good. And when I get sick, I just try to deal with it, keep quiet about it. Maybe I'll complain about the body aches, or having a sore throat, but you know, you just do what you got to do. But I've learned that human beings do get sick and they need to rest, and I am a human last time I checked, so I need to rest. And when I get sick now, and like things are good, like I said before, things are good between us. I just don't feel like talking about like bringing all that up just yet. I want to give it another therapy session or two. But like being sick now, like she takes good care of me, doesn't act annoyed, nothing like anything like my mother was. She does the complete opposite. And now I can fully appreciate that, because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how to do that for somebody else. And so that was a huge change for me. Also, what's changed a little bit is whenever I would start getting sick, I would start freaking out, because I knew what was going to happen. I knew how I was going to feel. There have been a few times where I threw a tantrum, like I literally was like in the bed on my knees, like just banging in my stomach, just banging my like fist like a fucking child. And I would tell Alicia, like, make me feel better. Make me feel better. I don't like feeling this way. And I would just say that over and over again because, like, yeah, it was her fault, right? So, and I knew I was being irrational, but that's what I had to do. I would pace a lot. I would do a lot of, like, just laying in bed and kind of rocking back and forth, or, like, rubbing my feet together when I had body aches. I was constantly in movement, just constantly moving, because if I didn't, I would feel worse. I am high maintenance, you know, what can I say? So I've gotten better with that now. But this is actually just the first time I've gotten sick since I found out that I'm autistic. I don't know if that has anything to do with like how I'm dealing with it now, maybe. But yeah, so I'm not doing any of that shit because I'm starting to feel better. I know this stuff is leaving me, and tomorrow will be a brand new day and I'll feel much, much better. But another thing that I do when I start feeling like there's something off, and then I start feeling like, oh yeah, I am getting sick, is I go on the internet and start looking things up, and within 5 minutes, the internet told me you're gonna die. So I need to really stop doing that. And you know, it turns out to be the same thing every time. It's always a fucking stomach bug, because I don't really get ear infections now. Those stopped like pretty much when I left home, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with my mother probably, but So like every single time I have gotten sick, I've had bronchitis a couple times. That was back when I used to be a smoker. And then that stopped when I stopped smoking. But it's always a stomach bug. Every fucking time it's a stomach bug. And every fucking time when it starts off, I go on the internet and look things up as if I have never felt this way before. And I don't understand why I do that, because I caught myself doing it today. Like, is this food poisoning? What is this? And I actually, like, I was aware that I was aware that I was thinking that way. I don't know how to word things properly, but it's not like I don't know that I do that, but I usually don't stop and think about it as I'm doing it. I hope that made sense. So, in the middle of like a article about food poisoning, I was sitting there and I just shut my laptop and nope, it's not any of that. It's a stomach bug. But I do it every single time because I don't know what I think I'm going to find, like something new. And also, why is it that it just seems to leave my memory? Like, how do I say this? I know how I feel when I'm sick. I don't always see it coming, and I can't always decipher, like in the beginning days of like a sickness coming on, I can't really tell what's going on. And so that's like consistent as well. I don't know. It's just a pattern. I love patterns. And I'm trying to get better at spotting the ones that I find myself in, but that's just hard to understand, like, why I do that. I always have stomach bugs. It always starts off with me feeling off and then questioning, am I getting sick? And then the sore throat. It's the same almost every fucking time. Does anybody else out there do that? Does that even matter? I don't know. I'm sure people do that. But anyways, this was supposed to be a short episode. I don't even remember half of what I said. That's probably because I took some marijuana a few hours ago, but I don't feel high. I'm not high, I promise. I am having a hot flash, in case anybody wants to know. Oh, God, I need to stop talking. The purpose of this episode, I'm sure I said it at the beginning. So this is me when I'm sick. At least what I could think of right now with my brain working the way it is. But I used to be just not a nice person when somebody else got sick and a bitch when I got sick. And now I'm neither of those things. So therapy works. And like, I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I learned that when somebody gets sick, for example, your spouse, you're supposed to cuddle them or whatever, or, like, they're there, that kind of thing. And she does it for me real good, and I always am like, stay away, I'm fucking gross, I'm sweating right now, like, I don't want you getting sick, don't come near me. And she will anyways, it doesn't bother her. But when she's like that, I don't want to fucking go near her, but I have to. And I try not to make her feel like a leper, but like I'm going to catch whatever she's got. I don't want whatever she's got. I have to fucking like touch her sick body. Like, oh, it's so germy. And I try to keep most of that in my head. And I'm getting a little bit better with that. I mean, I'm very compassionate now, but that whole touching somebody, like, reassuringly or whatever, nicely, I don't fucking know, hugging them, cuddling, whatever, I'm not good at that shit. I especially don't like it when somebody's sick, because I don't want what you fucking have, if I can avoid it. Anyways, why did I talk about that? I gotta go now. I hope you could relate in some way, and I hope I didn't lose anybody. Okay, thanks, bye.